I remember the exact moment I understood that love doesn't end when someone leaves. It was 3 in the morning, and I was sitting on the floor of my closet. Not because I was hiding, but because the closet was the only place quiet enough to hear myself think. My phone was in my hand, and I was writing a letter I never thought I'd have to write. A letter to my father. A man who taught me how to tie my shoes, how to ride a bike, how to say sorry, and how to mean it. And now I had to figure out how to say goodbye. My name is Rose, and this is the story of that letter. But more than that, it is the story of everything that led up to it. Every argument, every hug, every time I slammed my bedroom door, and every time he knocked to say dinner was ready. I always thought we would have more time. I think we all do. We go through life believing there is always tomorrow, always another chance to say the things we mean. But sometimes, tomorrow does not come. It started on a Tuesday. I remember because Tuesdays were always his days. My father was a man of routine. Every Tuesday, he would call me at exactly 6 o'clock. Not 6:01, not 5:59, 6. And he would say the same thing every time. Rose, did you eat? Not how are you, not what are you doing. Did you eat? As if food was the solution to every problem. And honestly, he wasn't wrong. But this Tuesday, the call did not come. I waited until 6:15, then 6:30. I told myself he was busy. Maybe he was fixing the fence in the backyard. Maybe he fell asleep watching his old war movies. Maybe his phone died. I called him back, and my mother answered. And I knew before she said a single word. It is strange how the body knows before the mind catches up. My hands got cold. My chest got tight. And then she said it. Your father is in the hospital. I drove 4 hours that night. 4 hours of replaying every conversation we ever had. Every time I was too busy to call back. Every time I visited and spent half the time looking at my phone. I thought about the fishing trip he always wanted us to take, the one I kept postponing because work was busy, because life was busy, because I thought there would always be next summer. I thought about the card I bought for his birthday 3 years ago that was still sitting in my glove compartment and signed. I thought about all the words I had saved for later and how later had suddenly arrived. When I got to the hospital, he was asleep. He looked smaller than I remembered. My father was always a big man, not in height, but in presence. He had hands that could fix anything and a laugh that filled every room. But here, under the white hospital lights, he looked fragile, like a leaf that had stayed on the tree too long, just waiting for the wind. I sat beside him and held his hand. His skin was warm, but his grip was weak. I wanted to say something profound, something that would capture 42 years of being his daughter. Instead, I just said, "I'm here, Dad. I'm here." He opened his eyes slowly, the way he used to wake up from Sunday naps. He looked at me, and for a moment he smiled. "You ate?" he asked. And I laughed. Because of course, that was his first question. Of course, even in a hospital bed, connected to machines and tubes, his main concern was whether I had put food in my body. I told him I ate a sandwich on the drive. He nodded, satisfied. Then he closed his eyes again, and the machines kept beeping, and I kept holding his hand. The doctors said we had days, maybe a week. They used words like palliative and end stage, but I stopped listening after a while. All I heard was that my father, the man who taught me how to whistle, was leaving. And I had so much I still wanted to say. So I did what I always do when words are too heavy to speak. I wrote them down. I started the letter that night, sitting in the hospital cafeteria at 2 in the morning, drinking the worst coffee I have ever tasted. I wrote on a napkin first, then moved to a notebook my mother brought from home. The pages are not perfect. There are coffee stains on some of them, and one page has a tear from where I cried while writing. But it is real. It is honest. It is everything I should have said over 42 years, but kept in my pocket like spare change, waiting for the right moment to spend. Dear Dad, do you remember the summer I turned 8 and I decided I wanted to be a bird? Not a specific bird, just any bird. I used to stand on the back porch with my arms out, flapping as hard as I could, convinced that if I just tried hard enough, I would lift off the ground. You never laughed at me. You never told me it was impossible. Instead, you built me wings out of cardboard and duct tape. They were heavy and lopsided, and they fell apart in the rain, but you carried me around the yard on your shoulders and told me I was flying. I believed you. I think that was the first time I understood what love is. Love is letting someone believe they can fly, even when you know they can't. Love is carrying them anyway. I think about that a lot now. How you always made me feel like I could do anything. When I failed my driving test the first time, you said the instructor was probably just hungry. When I didn't get the job I wanted, you said better things were coming. And when I told you I was scared to get married, you didn't tell me I was being silly. You just said, "Rose, love is not about finding someone perfect. It is about finding someone who will carry you when your wings get tired." I married him, Dad. And you were right. He carries me every day. I know I did not always show it, but I was always watching you. I watched the way you treated strangers, the way you held doors open and said thank you to bus drivers and left extra money in the tip jar. I watched the way you loved Mom, the way you brought her tea in the morning without her even asking, the way you held her hand during movies even though you had seen them 100 times. I watched the way you handled disappointment, not with anger, but with quiet acceptance. You taught me that strength is not about never falling. It is about getting up, dusting off your knees, and trying again. I am sorry for all the times I made you wait. I am sorry for the Father's Day cards I forgot to send, the phone calls I promised to make and did not, the visits that turned into rain checks that never got cashed. I am sorry for being a teenager and thinking I knew everything. I am sorry for slamming doors and saying things I did not mean. I am sorry for the year I was too busy being angry at the world to see that you were hurting too. You never told me about your own struggles. You just smiled and asked if I had eaten. I want you to know that I remember everything. I remember the time you stayed up all night sewing a costume for my school play because I waited until the last minute. You had never used a sewing machine before and your fingers were covered in little pinpricks, but you figured it out. I wore that costume like armor. I remember the time I broke my arm falling out of the oak tree in the backyard and you carried me all the way to the hospital because you said it would be faster than waiting for an ambulance. You were out of breath and scared, but you never stopped running. I remember the way you smelled, like sawdust and coffee and something warm I could never quite name. Home, I think. You smelled like home. I remember the time we argued about college. I wanted to go somewhere far away, somewhere you couldn't just drive to on a weekend. You wanted me to stay close. We fought for weeks, not speaking except for short, sharp sentences over dinner. And then one day, you came into my room and handed me a brochure for the school I wanted. You had already circled the application deadline and highlighted the scholarship requirements. You said, "I just want you to be happy, Rose, even if that means being far away." I cried. You cried too, though you tried to hide it by pretending to sneeze. You were always terrible at hiding your feelings. That is something I inherited from you. Mom says I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I got it from you. She told me about the day I was born, how you held me for the first time and wept like a baby, how you promised to protect me from everything, even though you knew it was impossible, how you stayed awake all night just watching me breathe, terrified that if you closed your eyes, something bad would happen. I understand that now. I understand that love is just another word for fear, the fear of losing someone you cannot imagine living without. I do not want to imagine living without you, but I know I have to. I know that is the deal we make when we love someone. We agree to carry the weight of losing them someday because the joy of having them is worth the pain. And you were worth it, Dad. Every second, every memory, every lesson, every laugh. You were worth it. I have been thinking about all the things you taught me that I did not even realize I was learning. You taught me that the best way to apologize is not with words, but with actions. That a sincere, "I'm sorry" means nothing if you keep doing the same thing. You taught me that patience is not about waiting. It is about how you act while you wait. You taught me that real strength is quiet, that the loudest people in the room are often the most scared, and that the kindest thing you can do for someone is to truly listen. Not just hear them, but listen. You taught me about forgiveness. I remember when I was 16 and I took your car without asking and put a small dent in the bumper.
I was so scared to tell you.
I thought you would yell, "Ground me for a month, take away my phone." But when I finally confessed, you just sighed and said, "Dents can be fixed. Lying about it is harder to repair." I never lied to you again after that. Not because I was afraid of punishment, but because I did not want to disappoint you. Your disappointment was always worse than any punishment you could give. I think about that now, with all the things I never said. I kept them hidden, not because I was afraid of your reaction, but because saying them out loud would make them real. And some things are too heavy to carry but too precious to let go. So I held on to them, like stones in my pocket, until they became part of me. There's something I never told you. When I was 25 and going through that difficult breakup, the one where I called you crying at midnight, you drove 6 hours to come see me. 6 hours, Dad. You arrived at 4 in the morning, still in your work clothes, holding a bag of my favorite donuts. You sat with me on the floor of my tiny apartment and let me cry until I had no tears left. You did not try to fix it. You did not tell me it would be okay. You just sat there, a solid presence in a world that felt like it was falling apart. What I never told you is that was the moment I stopped being afraid. Not of heartbreak, not of being alone, but of everything. Because I realized that no matter what happened, no matter how far I fell, you would always be there to catch me. You were my safety net, my home base, the voice in my head that said, "You can do this." And now, sitting in this hospital room, watching you sleep, I am trying to be that voice for myself. I am trying to catch myself. But it is so much harder than I thought. I do not know how to say goodbye. I do not think there is a right way. I think goodbye is just a word we invented because we cannot handle silence. But I do not want silence. I want to hear your voice forever. I want you to keep calling me on Tuesdays and asking if I ate. I want you to keep telling the same jokes at every family dinner, the ones Mom pretends to be tired of, but secretly loves. I want you to keep fixing things around the house, even when they are not broken, because you just like having something to do with your hands. I want more time, but I know that is not how this works. So instead, I am giving you my memories. I am giving them back to you, like returning a book you lent me long ago. Do you remember the time we tried to build a treehouse and ended up with a platform that was too small and a roof that leaked? You said it was not about the treehouse, it was about the building. And you were right. I remember the smell of sawdust and the sound of your hammer and the way you let me hold the nails even though I kept dropping them. I remember the summer we painted the fence and you let me choose the color.
Ich chose purple. Purple, Dad.
Our fence was purple for 3 years until the paint finally faded. The neighbors complained. You did not care. You said it was our house, and we could make it look however we wanted. I remember the Christmas you worked double shifts to afford that bicycle I wanted. The one with the pink streamers on the handles. I never knew how much it cost you. Not just in money, but in time, in energy, in sleep. You came home exhausted every night, but you never complained. You just smiled and asked if I had been good for Mom. I was not always good, but I tried to be because I knew you were working so hard and I did not want to make your life harder. That is what love does, I think. It makes you want to be better, not because someone demands it, but because they deserve it. I've been trying to be better. After I became a mother myself, I finally understood. I understood why you worried when I was late coming home. I understood why you asked so many questions about my friends and where we were going. I understood why you stood at the door waiting for me, even when I was 30 years old and perfectly capable of finding my own way home. It was not about control. It was about love. It was about the terrifying realization that your heart was walking around outside your body, vulnerable to all the dangers of the world, and there was nothing you could do to protect it. My daughter, your granddaughter, she has your eyes, the same shade of brown, like warm coffee. And she has your stubbornness, that quiet determination you get when you set your mind to something. She refused to learn how to tie her shoes until she was 7, simply because she wanted to do it her own way. I got frustrated. I yelled, I pleaded, I bribed her with ice cream. Nothing worked. And then one day, I remembered the wings. The cardboard wings you built me. So I sat down with her and said, "Show me your way." And she did. It was slower, messier, completely unconventional. But it worked. She tied her shoes. And I realized that is what you did for me my entire life. You did not force me into your way of doing things. You trusted me to find my own path, and you waited patiently at the finish line, ready to cheer. I try to be that kind of mother. It is harder than it looks. Every day, I fight the urge to fix everything for her, to remove every obstacle, to shield her from every disappointment. But I know that is not love. That is fear dressed up as love. Real love is letting her fall and being there to help her up. Real love is trusting that the lessons I taught her will guide her, even when I am not there to hold her hand. Real love is what you gave me. I am scared, Dad. I am scared of a world without you in it. I am scared that I will forget the sound of your laugh, the way your eyes crinkled at the corners, the way you said my name like it was something precious. I am scared that I will reach for the phone to call you and remember that you are not there to answer. I am scared that grief will swallow me whole and I will not know how to come back up for air. But I am also grateful. I am grateful for every single day I got to be your daughter. I am grateful for the ordinary moments, the ones that did not feel important at the time, but now shine like gold in my memory. Sunday mornings with pancakes shaped like animals, even though you were not a very good cook and the pancakes always came out burnt on one side. Rainy afternoons spent playing cards at the kitchen table, you letting me win just enough to keep it exciting. Long car rides where you sang off-key to old radio songs and pretended not to notice me laughing. I am grateful for the way you loved my mother. You showed me what a partnership should look like. Not perfect, never perfect. You argued about money and vacations, and whose turn it was to take out the trash. But underneath all of it was a foundation so solid, so steady, it could survive anything. You showed me that love is not a feeling. It is a choice. A choice you make every single day, even on the days when it is hard. Especially on the days when it is hard. I am grateful for the way you loved me. Unconditionally, without reservation, without expecting anything in return. You never kept score. You never held my mistakes against me. You never made me earn your affection. It was just there, constant and warm, like the sun. I did not always notice it, but I always felt it. I always knew, deep in my bones, that I was loved. And that knowledge shaped everything. It gave me the confidence to take risks, the courage to fail, the strength to try again. It made me believe that I was worthy of love, not because of what I achieved, but simply because I existed. That is what I want to give my daughter. That same unconditional love. That same quiet confidence. That same belief that she is enough, exactly as she is. I want her to know that she never has to earn my love, that it is hers, freely and forever. I want her to make mistakes and learn from them, to fall and get back up, to fly with wings made of cardboard and duct tape. I want her to know that no matter where life takes her, she will always have a home to return to. You gave me that, Dad. You gave me home, not a place, but a feeling of safety, of belonging, of being exactly where I was meant to be. And even though you are leaving, that feeling will not leave me. It is part of who I am now, woven into the fabric of my heart. Every time I hold my daughter's hand, I am holding yours. Every time I make a decision, I hear your voice in my head, calm and steady, guiding me. Every time I faced something difficult, I remember the treehouse that was not really a treehouse, and I remember that it was never about the destination. It was always about the journey and the people who walked it with us. I need you to know that I will be okay. Not right away, maybe not for a long time, but eventually. I will cry, and then I will laugh. I will mourn, and then I will celebrate. I will carry you with me in every good thing I do, in every kindness I show, in every moment of patience and understanding. Your legacy is not in bank accounts or property. It is in the way I treat strangers. It is in the way I love my family. It is in the way I face challenges, not with fear, but with quiet determination.
It is in me.
And it is in your granddaughter, who has your eyes and your stubbornness and, I hope, your heart. I've been sitting here, writing this letter, and the sun has come up. The hospital is waking up, nurses making their rounds, breakfast trays rattling down the hall. Mom is asleep in the chair beside me, her hand resting on your arm. She has not left your side in 3 days. That is love too, the kind that does not sleep, the kind that waits.
You chose well, Dad.
You chose someone who would stay until the very end, and then keep staying even after. I do not know if you will be able to read this. Maybe your eyes are too tired, your hands too weak to hold the pages. Maybe you will drift off before I finish, carried away on a tide of medicine and dreams. But I am writing it anyway, because I need to say it, because some words cannot stay unsaid, because you deserve to know that your life mattered, that you made a difference, that you were loved beyond measure. I used to think that the opposite of love was hate, but it is not. It is indifference. It is not caring enough to argue, to forgive, to try again. And we never stopped trying, did we? We had our disagreements, our misunderstandings, our moments of silence. But we always came back to each other, because the love was always stronger than the pride. The connection was always deeper than the distance. We were always each other's. So this is not goodbye. I refuse to make it goodbye. This is thank you. Thank you for the wings, for the treehouse, for the purple fence. Thank you for driving 6 hours in the middle of the night. Thank you for teaching me how to tie my shoes and how to untie the knots in my heart. Thank you for being my father, my teacher, my safe place. Thank you for loving me when I was difficult to love. Thank you for staying, even when staying was hard.
I love you, Dad.
I love you in past tense and present tense and all the tenses that have not been invented yet. I love you for the man you were, the father you became, the grandfather you are. I love you for your imperfections and your quiet strength and your terrible cooking. I love you for every sacrifice you made and never mentioned, for every worry you carried and never shared, for every dream you set aside so mine could take flight. I will tell your granddaughter about you. I will show her photographs and play her your favorite songs. I will teach her how to whistle the way you taught me, with 2 fingers and a lot of spitting. I will take her fishing, even if we never catch anything. I will build her a tree house with a leaky roof and tell her that it is not about the treehouse. I will make her pancakes shaped like animals and burn them on one side. I will call her on Tuesdays and ask if she ate. I will carry you forward into every tomorrow you will not see. And one day, many years from now, when it is my time to go, I hope you will be there waiting for me. I hope you will be standing under that oak tree in the backyard, holding a cup of terrible coffee and a bag of donuts. I hope you will smile and say, "You ate?" And I will smile back and say, "Yes, Dad. I ate. And I lived. And I loved. And it was all because of you." I am folding this letter now. I am putting it in an envelope and writing your name on the front. I am placing it on the table beside your bed, next to the water glass and the half-read newspaper. Your hand is warm in mine. Your breathing is slow and steady. The machines keep beeping, the world keeps turning, and I keep holding on. Not because I am afraid to let go, but because holding your hand is one of the greatest privileges of my life. And I want to hold it for as long as I can. I will see you in the morning. I will be here when you wake up. I will bring you coffee and tell you about the birds outside the window. I will read you the funny headlines from the newspaper. I will hold your hand and tell you about my day, even if my day is just sitting here with you. I will not waste a single moment. I will not save my words for later. Later is now. Now is everything. So here it is. Everything. Every memory, every lesson, every thank you, every I love you. 42 years of being your daughter, condensed into ink on paper. It is not enough. It could never be enough. But it is everything I have. And it is all yours. Always, Rose. I finished the letter as the morning light filled the room. My father was still asleep, his chest rising and falling in that slow rhythm I had come to memorize. I folded the pages carefully, pressing down the creases with my thumb. I did not put it in an envelope. I wanted him to see my handwriting, the loops and slants that he had watched develop from messy kindergarten scrawls to this. I wanted him to know that every word came from my hand, my heart, my own imperfect self. I placed the letter on his bedside table, under the edge of his reading glasses, so it would not blow away. Then I sat back in my chair and took his hand again. His fingers curled around mine, not as strong as before, but still holding. Still holding. He woke up an hour later. His eyes found mine, and he smiled that familiar smile, the one that said everything was going to be okay, even when it was not. He did not reach for the letter right away. Instead, he looked at me and said, "You stayed." I nodded. I stayed. He closed his eyes again, and I thought he had fallen back asleep. But then he spoke, his voice barely a whisper. I read it.
I did not ask how.
I did not ask when. I just squeezed his hand and waited. He opened his eyes and looked at me with all the love in the world. You were always flying, Rose. I just pointed the way. And that was enough. That was everything. He passed away 2 days later, quietly in his sleep. My mother was holding his left hand. I was holding his right. The room was full of morning light and the sound of birds outside the window. It was peaceful. It was exactly as it should be. I kept the letter. I could not leave it on the table, could not let it be folded away in a box of hospital belongings. I took it home and put it in my nightstand drawer, next to the card I never signed and the photograph of us at my wedding, him beaming, me laughing. Both of us, so full of joy we did not know what was coming. But maybe that is the point. Maybe we are never supposed to know what is coming. Maybe we are just supposed to show up, hold hands, and say the words while we still can. I still talk to him. Every Tuesday at 6 o'clock, I sit on my back porch with a cup of coffee and tell him about my week. I tell him about my daughter's spelling bee, and the funny thing the dog did, and the new recipe I tried that did not turn out quite right. I tell him about the dreams I still have, the fears I still carry, the moments of unexpected joy that catch me off guard. I tell him I ate. I tell him I am okay. I tell him I love him. And somewhere, somehow, I believe he hears me. This is what I learned from writing that letter. Love does not end when someone dies. It changes shape, becomes something quieter, something that lives in the spaces between memory and hope. It becomes the sound of a familiar laugh in a crowded room, the smell of sawdust on a summer afternoon, the sight of a purple fence that still stands, faded but proud. It becomes the way you treat strangers, and the way you forgive mistakes, and the way you keep showing up, even when showing up is hard. If you are reading this and thinking of someone you need to write to, do not wait. Do not save your words for later. Later is not guaranteed. The perfect moment does not exist. Write the letter, make the call, say the thing that has been sitting in your chest like a stone. You do not need fancy words or perfect sentences. You just need truth. You just need heart. You just need to start. My name is Rose, and this was my last letter to my father. But it was also my first letter to myself. A reminder that I am capable of hard things, that I am strong enough to carry grief and joy at the same time, that love is not a finite resource, but something that multiplies the more you give it away. I still have his voicemails saved on my phone. I still have his old flannel shirt hanging in my closet. I still have the cardboard wings, tattered and faded, propped in the corner of my daughter's room. She asked me about them once, and I told her the story. She listened with her coffee brown eyes, and when I finished, she said, "Can we build new ones?" So we did. We built wings out of cardboard and duct tape, lopsided and heavy, impossible for flying. But she put them on and ran around the yard, arms outstretched, laughing. And I watched her, this girl with her grandfather's eyes and her mother's stubborn hope, and I realized that he was still here. He was in her laughter, in her determination, in her absolute refusal to accept that she could not fly. He was in me too. In the way I drink my coffee black, because that was how he drank his. In the way I say please and thank you to everyone, from cashiers to CEOs. In the way I love my family, fiercely and imperfectly, and without reservation. He is in every choice I make, every word I write, every hand I hold. And he is in this letter, these pages you have just read. Because this is not just my story. It is his story too. It is the story of a man who spent his life building wings for the people he loved, never asking for anything in return except that they eat their vegetables and call home once in a while. It is the story of ordinary love, the kind that does not make headlines or win awards, but quietly, steadily, changes the world one small kindness at a time. So, if you take nothing else from this, take this.
Say it now. Say it today.
Say it with coffee-stained napkins and crumpled notebook pages and trembling voices. Say, "I love you."
Say, "I am sorry."
Say, "Thank you." Say, "I remember." Say, "I will carry you with me, always." Say it before the moment passes, before the sun sets, before the phone stops ringing on Tuesdays at 6 o'clock.
Say it.
Because you never know whose wings you are helping to build. You never know whose heart you are teaching to fly.